Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, how's it going, Jared?
It's good, man. And we have Clint Gadbury. How you going? How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
And you got the PR shirt just right there. It's awesome. I love it. So I'm gonna give it to you right away, man. What do you do for a living? How do you train? And where are you from?
My name's Clint. I live in Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm 42. And I have a great wife and a 6-year-old boy. And I'm a high school industrial tech teacher, classically trained, if you will, through college. And then I currently teach things like engineering, architecture, and design, computer design things.
Very cool.
I train in my basement gym. My garage is very sacred to me. That's where I need to build stuff and store my vehicles. So
yeah, it makes sense given your profession. That's yeah. So what are you working with in the basement? What kind of setup do you have?
Well, I'm in there now, and I've got a squat stand, just single uprights. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
About
it's a pretty decent ceiling height too.
Yeah, I got the traditional 8 foot, but I'm also 5'8". Used to be 5'9", but pressing isn't all that hard to do. I've got a couple bars, a rogue bar, and then a little short 35-pound bar and curl bar. Kettlebells. I built this little storage shelf for kettlebells and slam balls, and I'll be adding a second level of that here soon once equipment comes back in stock from the suppliers.
Nice.
Got the rings. I did have a pull-up bar in there, but it's tough to do multiple movements, like if you're going to bench and do pull-ups at the same time. So I took this one came with a double pull-up where it had the 2-inch round bar and 1 1/4, and I took that out and got a brace for that. And then I built and mounted the pull-up bar here on my ceiling.
Oh, nice.
So I have a welder and some metalworking tools. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. So I do a lot of construction and type work and stuff like this. So I made this one to where I can pull the pins pretty easily.
And adjust the height, or
if I want to use a different size grip.
Oh, that's cool.
So
it flips horizontally up and down, or whatever, whichever flip-flops of a thickness of the bar.
Yep, it just rotates.
And you created that?
Well, this part came from Titan. Is where I bought my rack from. So the uprights and the braces I built in my garage. And
was the flipping idea yours, or did Titan have that set up?
No, they didn't have that. They had them just bolted statically. And so I thought, well, I'd like to be able to try to use both. And so it's just one of their bolts with a lock nut here in the middle, and just a pin to keep it from swinging out on me. And it's 6. I think I used 3/8 or 5/16 bolts to the floor joist, so it's pretty stable. Works really good with the with the TRX bands. Doesn't move around a lot like the rack does, and works great for the banded pull-ups that you had us do a few months ago, and all the recent pull-ups you've had us do.
Yeah, I'd say as far as pull-up bars, it looks super stable, especially for the basement, because of since your cross beams are exposed, you just have it bolted right into those, and on 3 of them on each side. So that's definitely looks rock steady.
Right. Some other things, I built the shelf too, but I also built had no great place to put this landmine, so I made kind of a device just to clamp it onto that outrigger down there. So
nice.
Got some plans for down here at the bottom. There's a couple holes. Imagine for attachments or for like bands, band pegs. It's hard to do rack pulls in this one because of where everything's mounted for the plates and stuff. So I'm going to build a couple rack pull stands just to pop on and off there. And I've also got a soft box here. No broken shins for me.
Nice.
Dumbbells. I got some basic storage over here for various items to try to stay organized. A couple more implements. Out in our family room, I have a 900 square foot house. We do have basements here in Iowa. So out in our family room, which is in our basement, I've got an old Schwinn Airdyne and a spinning bike. And that becomes my, during the wintertime, my lunge and everything else area. And then out in the garage, I've got slosh pipe and another bar and 4 sandbags and a pull sled or drag sled.
You're loaded up, man. You got a good setup there.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. I'm pretty fortunate to have pretty much all this before the virus hit and suppliers started going out of stock and everything. But managed to get a couple things through Facebook Marketplace, but nothing I really needed.
Yeah, and what was the big reason behind starting your gym at home?
Well, I've always worked out since I was like 16, 17, with just a couple of short hiatuses here and there during college and whatever. But I had a gym membership forever. And 2014, my son was born, and we tried the in-house daycare at the gym, and it wasn't bad. They're good people and all that, but I wasn't real comfortable with it. First-time parent, you know how the first one goes. You're just scared of everything. So I was just like, well, we're already spending $500 some bucks a year on the membership, which is super cheap. Don't get me wrong. So I just started buying about a rack and the bar and found some weight at the time. Got it for 50 cents on the dollar, so that was pretty good, 50 cents a pound.
Yeah.
Start working out because it's just easier to have my son playing the Wii or working out with me, and we're in the same level house, and I don't have to worry about him. Plus, saving that 30 minutes of getting there, getting changed, coming back home. Plus, my wife. I mean, we were working out together before she was pregnant, and then we just couldn't be consistent for her. So we really needed to do it for both of us.
And what's your biggest goal right now?
Well, I don't really have too much of a goal. It's just trying to be fit and staying strong. It's just part of everyday life for me. But I want to be as physically productive as I can for as long as I can, getting into older age. I look around, I see people that aren't that much older than me and beyond can't do much physically anymore, and it's sad, and I don't want to be that way. And also in the past, I've coached track and football and rugby. I also help administer youth rugby here in Iowa. And for me, I don't know that I could feel like I would be legitimate enough to yell at my son or my players to, hey, work harder, do it this way, and then not be able to do it myself to some degree. So I just remember growing up, had a few coaches and older men in our community that would yell at you, yet they couldn't ever do what they were asking of you. So
practice what you preach. Yeah, I think that's a big one for me too. Just in general, I don't like to program things that I can't do, or tell my kids to do something I'm not going to do myself. So I think that's a big motivator. And you train alone, I'm guessing, for the most part. You ever have any training partners come with you?
Yeah, most time it's just by myself. My son will crash the pull-up party every now and then, show me how strong he is, and love that. But every once in a while, we were really consistent. We have our group called church. None of us are actively involved in any brick and mortar type churches. So on Sunday mornings, we meet together at the local rugby club and we just throw workouts together. Could be sprinting one week. It could be some circuit training. Could be sandbag training. Depends how many there are. If there's 12 of us, we'll do 12 different exercises so we can all rotate it through one. That's what we do. And then quite a few of us, when the virus wasn't around, we do adult touch rugby to stay fit as well.
Cool.
That's really cool. So how do you like training in your basement?
It's better than when I was at a gym. I rarely ever talked to anybody, was frequently annoyed with how people treat the facility and the equipment. And so for me, just training out here is I can be more efficient, and I'm the one that does the cleaning and putting stuff away. I do have to get after my wife a little bit. She doesn't put the plates back in the right spot sometimes. So we'll work on that. But yeah, I get in and out. Some days takes longer, being 42, and your body definitely tells you when to slow down or when you can speed up.
Now, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Well, I couldn't think of anything prior to joining Garage Gym Athlete. I don't know if personally I've ever pushed myself that hard. I've always, going back to training, it was in high school, it was bigger, faster, stronger. That was and I always kind of did my own program based off of bodybuilding. I've been chasing my one of my best friends. He became an all-natural bodybuilder, got his pro card, and I'm just again, when it comes to athleticism, I'm a jack of all trades. I never really excel at anything, but I never really suck at anything either. Just kind of there in the middle. Did various boxed or pre-programmed type training, bodybuilding.com, that kind of stuff. Then I got into strong lifts, 5x5, and Wendler 531, and those are great for building just sheer strength, but you get bored real quick. At least I did. And so
For sure.
It was like last September, October, I had a procedure done, and the recovery from that wasn't the greatest. And so I couldn't do anything for like four months. And January came around, started getting back into it, and I was just like bored, couldn't get going. I think I was on the Art of Manliness one day, and I came across a recommendation for your program, and I was like, well, I'll give it a shot, and jumped into shred track, and 126 pounds. And I mean, I worked out hard. My friends were like, you're nuts, quit doing this. And I crashed physically. Like, I just couldn't do it about 10 weeks in, and I had to switch tracks. I switched to strength right around that first end of the cycle. And I was talking to my buddy Matt, he's a chiropractor, and uh, big into, he likes power athlete training. He was talking to me about cortisol and insulin. And so I went back and listened to all your podcasts. I mean, when I was mowing, when I was doing the lawn, so I was listening to your podcast, and it was the information about nutrition. I think it was Dr. Shanahan and Dr. Lemansky.
Yep.
Though that just clicked for me. It was get your protein, keep your carbs as low as you can, and get good fats. And since April, I've dropped 20 pounds. So for me, that's
nice.
That's where it's all kind of come into play. But sorry, going off into left field here, but so no real tough workouts before then. Although I tried to get after it, but for me, prior to any workout, it's looking at the program and be like, man, I don't want to do this. That's the tough one for me. And if it was last week with all the pull-ups, the ladder pull-ups, or this week, yesterday, so that, man, again. So, but my shoulders got a little angry, a little short. But in process, when in the workout, I'd have to say it's either EO3 5K or the Iron Mile. Those, as soon as I started, I wanted to quit. And
that's a no. That's a good indicator right there.
Massive mental fortitude just to go through it. That first Iron Mile, I threw only 95 pounds on it, and I'm going around the block, and I made it like 100 meters, and then I dropped it. I just let it off my back, and I'm like, this is horrible. Everything's on fire. Yeah. Shoulders hate me. My elbows hate me. My wrists hate me. And I got to do this for another month. I'm like, I did it, but I dropped the weight once I got back to my house.
Yeah, that's a brutal one. A good choice.
Afterwards, the lunge test sucked. I couldn't walk right for 3 days. I couldn't go down the stairs frontwards. I had to go backwards.
That'd be funny to see encounter you on the stairs
on all fours.
I couldn't bend down to pick anything up. It was, I might as well have been 80 years old.
You almost never get used to high volume lunge days. They still wreck you.
Unless you just do them all the time. If it's something you're doing like once a week, yeah. But like anytime it just comes up in the programming, like once every other month or something, it'll wreck your legs.
Yeah, it was horrible. I don't know if I'll ever do that one again.
Yeah, like I'm gonna skip that one if it pops up in the programming.
Yeah.
Now,
a few of the Saturdays, I do look at them. I'm like, I don't know if this is a great idea for me. Like this last one.
Condition me to the grave?
Grave? Yeah. My physical therapist, he says, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. And so I recently hurt my lower back and working on my shoulders and my ankle. And so he's like, you just probably should do something else. So my friend and I, we went out and did some sprints. So, or I do a sandbag circuit.
Nice.
Yeah. And are you talking about like the subbed version of Condition Me to the Grave?
Oh, no, I didn't even do that.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just wondering if you're talking about back problems. I was wondering what the flare up probably, I guess, from like the sumo kettlebell, right? Isn't that in there, Joe? The sub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there was that. Probably, it was Fit Week, just the most recent one where I strained my lower back again. And prior to 2 years ago, I did it. And, it seems like I get above 315 pounds and it's not happy with me, and it just pops. I can hear it and feel it. And then I'm not able to walk right for quite a while. But so I'm really working hard on my technique. I had a strength coach where I go to physical therapy, look at it, my technique, and it just sounds like I kind of went in a little lazy, and maybe my rear end went up a little bit quicker than the rest of my body. And so I'm just, anytime there's deadlift, I start much lower than what's programmed and just make sure everything's tight.
Now, in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I'm I would say practicing and applying patience. I think it's a great skill, especially in today's climate with everything. Like learning to ignore your first response, especially when you're in emotional. Like when your 6-year-old won't do anything reasonable, or in my case, students are getting under your skin a little bit, or even with a spouse or a family member, like just practicing taking that moment to really collect your thoughts and not make it worse than it really needs to be.
Yeah, I think that's a great practice in general terms, just for life.
Yeah, and I think it's also just taking care of the things you hate to do. Like if you hate doing the dishes, like you said before, I think do them, or painting something, like painting a room, like, or for me as a teacher, calling parents when they're not, your students aren't quite meeting your expectations, or just talking to somebody when things go bad. I found it's much better to call that person and suck it up and work it out than to try to shoot them a text or email. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I also hate painting, so I should probably I should probably flex that muscle and paint some rooms or something, for sure. Now, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I would go with a sandbag. I've decided whether to go with the heavy one, like you said before. I've got one that goes up to 120 some pounds. But really, I think probably the 25 to 75 pounder would be all right. Like on some Saturdays, I'll do Brute Force has an app, and they have some nice workouts that they program every day, and so I'll do that on some Saturdays. And I mean, you can do anything with a sandbag, and I'm gassed at the end of those things. So for me, you can take a little bit of sand out if you need to be lighter, and you can throw it back in when you need it.
So if you could add something to your basement gym, what would it be?
I need a rower, but I'm just unwilling to pay $900 for one. So I'm gonna wait till they start hitting the marketplace again. But other than that, I've got pretty much everything I think I need.
It's usually the biggest obstacle people come into. They're like, yeah, I got barbells, I got my weights, I got my rack. But that first piece of conditioning equipment is when it's like really like, man, this is really getting serious now.
Yeah, it's hard to get a piece of conditioning equipment that's not like $1,000 at least, so.
There is a thought, if I stay in this house, we're kind of landlocked. We really don't want to give up our affordable lifestyle at this point. But I do want to add on to the back of my garage. There's a hill down there, and so I would do like a 2-story add-on, and the lower story would be the new workout facility. So
yeah.
I can do it pretty reasonable because I can do it pretty much myself, and then I'd have my shop above it.
2-story garage.
It only looks 1 story from the street, but it's kind of like a 4-foot drop or 5-foot drop in the back.
Nice.
That's awesome. All right, there are a lot of garage gym athletes out there listening to this. What would your best advice for them be?
Well, there's several that I could think of. And I approach this for like if I was going back to my 20-year-old self. First of all, nutrition. Don't waste money on supplements if you're not going to eat properly. Like I said before, and the research that you presented shows high protein, medium good fats, lower carbs. And then if you do want to supplement protein or multivitamin, that's all I've gone to. I can't think of thousands of dollars I've wasted on all the gimmick stuff. I do use a product called Extend for the drink during the workout. It's just electrolytes and amino acids and stuff like that. So, the supplements are a big waste. Warm up, especially as you get older.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
upper body. I use Crossover Symmetry.
Fantastic.
It helped a lot, and I've been doing their strength. They have a strength program on the off days, just because with my shoulder problems, I took a tackle playing rugby a few years ago and slight tear in my labrum. So, and there's some arthritis there. So, just trying to build that stability up, help with mobility. And that's what I'm getting some physical therapy for, and things like yoga for the lower back. The mobility part of it, especially as you get older, you get a little bit more stiff. I doing a lot of mobility work with the PT and stuff like that. And then just recently, don't ignore how your body feels. If something doesn't feel right, just stop the workout and move on. And don't let the guilt of not finishing or getting that workout in keep you from looking to solve what's actually wrong with your body. And even like yesterday, I had to cut that pull-up ladder, the last block of the pull-up ladders out, just because my shoulders are very angry at me. So it's like, well, we'll just try to work them in on another day.
Good.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Well, Clint, I appreciate your time and, for being Garage Gym Athlete training and sharing everything you have with us, man. So thanks for all that. And thanks for being a Garage Gym Athlete.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. And I got to say, I wish your programming was around 20 years ago, because I'd have saved myself a lot of time. And I think I'd been that much further along now. I've drank the Kool-Aid, and as long as you guys don't screw up the programming, we'll be good.
Yeah, I don't plan to. So I think we're good, man. I appreciate that. I really do. Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.